What a tragedy. This is a man-made tragedy where men are getting into women's tracks as transgenders. Make no mistake about it, they're men in transgender roles and competing against women. Now, this is not only morally wrong, but it is a man-made problem. This is an emotional problem, a psychological problem, and a biological problem that has been created by men who want to change their sex genders, and the medical and political establishment which is supporting this tragedy. It's a tragedy because they're made male and female. If transgenders want to compete, let them compete against other transgenders, not women. That'll solve the problem. And this hasn't been brought up, but they're afraid of a retaliation. They're afraid of political and financial challenges. This needs to be stopped and nipped in the bud. It's not going to be, but it should be stopped and nipped in the bud. If they want to compete against other people, let them compete against other transgenders, not women. These are men trying to be women. Let's be blunt about it. They want to play and compete, let them compete against other transgenders, not women. This is wrong.
When I'm at the start of the race, when I'm lining up and getting into my blocks, everyone already knows the outcome. Those two athletes are going to come 1 and 2, and everyone knows it.
The Connecticut Interscholastic Athletic Conference, the CIAC, says that athletes can choose to compete for the sport in which they gender identify with.
No one thinks it's fair because we all know that males are physically stronger than females and they compete at a higher level.
Petitions are circulating in Plainville and Glastonbury after 2 trans girls swept the competition at the state track and field championships.
From third on, it's a little different. We're actually fighting for those spots. But in those meets, there's no way that one of us biological girls will be able to outrun those transgender athletes.
Yes, track and field in Connecticut, but the door is open there for any sport.
Not only is this underreported, but it is tragic. She introduced this H.R. 5 bill, the Equality Act, sexual orientation, gender identity as protected class under federal civil rights law. This is wrong. We're born male or female, generally speaking. There are some minor exceptions. But these are male bodies. They're playing the part as a transgender, which is psychological, emotional problems that are related to this, but their body is a male body. And this is a man-made situation. It's a psychological situation. It's a medical man-made situation, and it needs to be stopped.
We will make America fairer by passing.
Males and females have rights. If transgenders want to compete, let them compete against each other, but not against males competing against females. That need to be stopped. It's wrong. These are male bodies competing against females, and that's wrong. Let them compete against themselves if they want it, but they should not be competing against females. Let's go on and move this up here. Pelosi is wrong in what she's doing, and so are Republicans and Democrats that are following
The Equality Act to end discrimination against the LGBTQ community.
The problem is it's competing against females. Females are being put down again. Biological females are being put down again by males. It's another form of control and inequality. Males were never made to compete against females in sports. They just weren't. The testosterone and the bodies make them more powerful. This is a natural fact. So transgenders, if they want to be transgenders, let them compete against other transgenders and leave the females, sports and athletes alone. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it, but we need to fight this wickedness. It's wrong.
Everyone out of the competition.
Something that has happened recently for Selena was being left out of the New England Championship. She was the first one out of the final and was the 8th one in the state. Since 2 first places were taken by boys who identify as girls, she could have been the 6th girls going, and instead she was a spectator on the stands at the New England Championship.
They took
See, this is boys trying to pretend that they're females, and it's wrong. It's wrong. Taking these spots away from the girls, deserving girls, is wrong. They should not be competing against girls. They're male bodies. I don't care what they think they are mentally, physically, they're male bodies competing against female bodies. This is wrong.
away the spots of deserving girls, me being included. No one thinks it's fair, but everyone is afraid of retaliation from the media, from kids around their school, from other athletes, coaches, school administrators. They don't want to drag attention to themselves, and they don't want to be seen as a target for potential bullying and threats.
See, that's the other thing. Why doesn't the media support these women, these girls? They're not. They're being discriminated against. They're females, and they need to compete with females. Transgenders need to compete with transgenders if they want to, but leave the women sports people alone. That's only right. And they need to go to men's facilities, even if they've had biological changes or medical changes done to them. So they need to leave the female sports people alone. And the media need to support this. The media is not supporting it either. And the politicians need to rechange the legislation. If they want to compete, they can compete with other transgenders. Leave the women alone. That's my story. That's what I'm sticking to, and there's no discrimination that way.
Watching them run was just heartbreaking. I mean, you almost don't even want to watch, but how can you not? You can clearly see these two biological guys just absolutely crushing it, and it almost brings you to tears.
We've competed head-to-head with these people many times, and it hurts to see them win when you know that we probably should have won.
There's really nothing else you can do except, get super frustrated and roll your eyes, because it's really hard to even come out and talk in public just because of the way with the far left and how immediately you'll just be shut down.
We are totally accepting of who they are and who they want to be. We just have an issue when it comes to sports.
Just like every other parent, I want my daughter to be happy. I want her to enjoy high school, fulfill her dream, go to college, compete at elite level, just the way she has been doing in high school, and achieve that dream of being in a fair Olympic Games someday.
With the case in Connecticut, it can be difficult showcasing my talents to coaches from around the country, as they only look at the results online. They see the first and or second place girl so far ahead of the rest of the girls, and they're going to reach out to and try to recruit those two top girls versus everyone else since they're so far behind in time.
She does.
Again, these are not girls. These are men pretending to be competing with women. They're men's bodies. Let's get this straight. Let's get this straight. The laws need to be changed. If you're born male and you choose to be transgender, compete against transgender, not against women, because you're born with a male body. Let's get this straight. Let's get this right politically, morally, and legislation-wise. If you want to be a transgender, compete against transgender, leave the females alone. Let the females that are born female compete against the females, But the males that are born males compete against the males, and if you want to change to a transgender, compete with other transgender. And you need to compete with the transgender that you started with. If you're born a male, then you need to compete with male transgenders. If you're born a female, you need to compete with female transgenders. And this needs to be clearly specified out politically, morally, and media-wise. The body that you're born with, you need to compete with that. If you want to go transgender, then compete with the transgenders that are born that way. And it needs to be done male and female bodies. Period. I'm going to end it here, share this, give you the source for this. Good day. It's Roger Martin, Billings, Montana.